Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Esezan Ambasi. Welcome to Team Training Tuesday. We also like to call it Applied Near Life. And today we want to apply what we've got to this question or to this topic, importance of keeping the cardiovascular system healthy. Last week, I started a series called Principles and Fundamentals. And this is actually for the benefit of those who have recently joined the Neolife family. We would like to share with you a few basic principles and the foundations that once you understand, everything will become easier in the future for you. And you'll understand why a few things are very important to do. So, principles and fundamentals, importance of keeping the cardiovascular system healthy. I just want to start with an introduction to say that we have a vision as a family to end the trend of chronic disease and to end the trend of financial stress as well, because that's one of the reasons that people develop cardiovascular disease. And indeed, cardiovascular diseases are the leading cause of disability and death all over the world. And it is also a fact that treating cardiovascular disease is very, very expensive. So I believe we need a new paradigm. We need to shift paradigm completely and consider nutritional approaches as a way to change all that. Right, so, because blood pressure is measurable, they tend to start at that point, but by then a lot of damage has already begun and has already happened. So in this graphic, it shows that chronic high blood pressure or hypertension can lead to all these things: stroke, eye damage, blood vessel damage, heart attack, kidney failure. But I think that, again, it is starting at the end of the story rather than starting at the beginning and saying, how can we prevent the problem of high blood pressure? And I'll just show you that what we want is to grow old, but with good vessels, good blood vessels inside us. And we want something like this and not this. But this is what happens, the old, rusted, clogged, is what happens with the aging process. So just a recap, what the functions of the cardiovascular system are. Very, very, very important. And the tragedy is a lot of people, millions of people, have issues with their cardiovascular system and they don't even know it. They might just manifest as fatigue or a few symptoms, but they won't relate it to the cardiovascular system. But I just want to point that out, that it is a very, very crucial system. So it transports oxygen and removes carbon dioxide. It transports nutrients and removes wastes. It's important to fight disease. It transports hormones, and it also regulates the body temperature. So without it, I believe it's actually the biggest system we've got in our body. It is the endothelial system, as it were, is the biggest. It's even bigger than the skin, which is on top. So we like to say that the skin is the biggest organ. Yes, on top of us. But inside us, it is this system called the cardiovascular, and specifically the one layer thick that lines the blood vessels. So there are various kinds of disease, but this isn't the issue. Today, I want to focus more on how we can be more mindful of prevention. So, how do we start this journey with the correct tools? And I've seen time and again people wanting to really exert themselves in order to achieve a goal, like loss of weight or becoming fitter. But if they don't have the right tools nutritionally and other tools that we shall discuss, this system can create so many free radicals and so much damage that instead of helping, it can actually harm the body. So what are we talking about now? I think a whole mind shift, a mindset change has to happen. So the most important first step is to have a mindset overhaul before you can have a lifestyle overhaul. So in short, really, your choices do matter a big deal. And a lot of people say, well, one vitamin is the same as the other. Is that true? I don't think so. And one soap is the same as the other. Is that true? I don't think so. So does it really matter what personal care products you use? Well, we want to prove to you that indeed it matters a lot. And that is because of this situation that we call inflammation that underlies and underpins all disease processes. So there's inflammation and oxidation that work hand in hand to cause damage to the body. So what are we talking about? We want to discuss ways to increase resilience so that the cardiovascular system does not break down. And that is another way of saying we want to create preventative measures and to bring them to the fore. Rather than waiting to be slapped with a diagnosis, let us understand the fundamentals and the foundations. So whenever the body speaks to you, okay, things like persistent symptoms of sickness, and you need to understand that there's something wrong somewhere. You need to take a few steps back and ask, what am I eating? What am I breathing? What am I thinking? Where do I live? What kind of environment and company do I keep? Okay, so all those questions can impact how well your cardiovascular system works and fares. So you have what's an acronym, DRESS: diet, rest and adequate sleep, exercise, stress management, and supplementation. So you notice that before you start with a supplementation program, all these other aspects have to be in place and optimally managed. And then, of course, we have nature working for us. We are blessed to have accessibility. All these things are accessible. The sun, for example, is totally accessible. We just have to be aware and get there to use it. So this is the promise that is available to each one of us. If you choose to become more responsible, your cardiovascular system can be renewed, actually, and revitalized and rejuvenated and regenerated. It doesn't matter how far gone, you can make a start wherever one is, but just the first step is to become aware. So this is what we're talking about, the heart of the matter. And I want us to prioritize structure of the vessels of the heart. And that is what the family that we belong to, I believe, has given us all the tools in order to be able to do that. Right, I need to see how to move to that. Okay, so let us consider what prevention is. You know, a lot of times we just bandy around the word prevention without actually stopping to think what we are talking about. But the questions are, can food be the answer to reversing most of the common types of degeneration? And what else does the body need for optimal function? And another important question is, when should we begin? And for me, that is one of the things that I admire our company for, because they tell us that first start by making a decision to change something so that you can actually gain better control of the things around you that you can control. And you can seriously control the soap you use. You really can, because once you move from a toxic brand to a non-toxic brand, immediately you start seeing the difference in that inflammation begins to go down. And then when to start? In childhood. So for those of us who are older now, have to be so intentional with our children and grandchildren for that matter. And we need to start then and not to wait until they're sick before we consider that. Because the whole of society and the profession that I belong to, which is the medical profession, has made it an industry to wait for sickness. Now we are talking prevention. So the other thing to consider, are all nutrition supplements equal? Does it really matter what you use? And this is when, for the new ones, I want you to understand the issue of bioavailability, which means the availability of whatever you use. Is a physiological term. Does it describe the proportion of a food or even a medicine which enters the circulation when introduced into the body? And it then has an active effect. Or the degree to which nutrients are available for the body to use, and to use profitably, to use properly. They are absorbed after they are administered. So that is bioavailability. And we have very highly bioavailable nutrients that are presented to us. So the question is, whom do you trust? Well, we've chosen to trust the scientists that we have, a board of scientists. They have a history of scientific excellence. The founder was actually a cancer researcher, and he moved across to Neolife, which had already been going since 1958, and established the scientific advisory board who research and develop everything that we have. And that sets us apart because their focus has always been on cellular nutrition, to feed the cells at that level. And that was the first and the flagship product called TreeNN. You'll come across it a lot, and we always advise that in any program, this has to be included. Otherwise, if you can only start with one product, this is it. And then the concept of core nutrition is so important because it gives you the very foundational nutrition, and that's why it's called the core nutrition. And there are pictures over there. It's basically Pro Vitality, which looks like that, and there is the TreeNN, and then you have omega-3, salmon oil plus. You have an antioxidant that is unique to this company. All these products are unique to this company, but I'll just say that omega-3, you might find many other brands but you won't find the quality that we have here. And then, of course, you have vitamins and minerals. So the important thing to note is that because of the ethic of cellular nutrition, the awareness that the heart needs a lot of energy and needs to create a lot of energy is exactly why we have unique products such as this one that is in this picture. And it feeds the mitochondria. Those are the energy producing parts of the cells. Now, the key to always remember is don't wait until you develop symptoms, because many people have cardiovascular issues and they don't even know about it. So start feeding as much as you can. And that's why we do business the way we do in this family. So everything that is presented to us is human natural. It is made out of real food, and it is not genetically modified, and it is highly bioavailable purely because of the way it is presented to us. Now, I want to talk about the importance of all the 22 amino acids that are available in the core nutrition, and specifically in the product called the shake. It gives you protein. Now that is so important for continual repair and regeneration of the entire system. And I've in the past had occasion to test this product on somebody who was in frank heart failure, and they were brought out of heart failure through consistent use. So out of that, I just want to focus on the importance of that particular product. It keeps blood sugar level in a narrow zone that we call the glycemic control zone. It is these high spikes of blood sugar that cause damage inside blood vessels that will lead to that aging process that we saw in one of those visuals, okay? And this is what happens in situations like diabetes, and we've seen that diabetes is on the increase. So by controlling and training the body to control blood sugar levels in the glycemic control zone, one limits the damage that can occur. Right, so that's the news for everyone. Trianen we mentioned, and this is just a picture to show how too much of the oxidative damage and inflammation can lead to deposition of plaque, causing a lot of disease. And it is made worse if there is too much of the low density lipoprotein, the cholesterol, and not enough of the HDL, which is what we have in omega-3. HDL helps to remove this stickiness and therefore make it better. So I want to discuss omega-3 now, its importance. It lowers heart disease risk factors by reducing triglycerides, and it also improves the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, as I've shown in the previous slide. You need to increase the HDL or the omega-3s so that the balance is redressed. And that's how it works. And it will regulate cellular function. It is a very, very powerful anti-inflammatory. It brings in bad inflammation to an end. The near life difference is that ours is complete. It is about the only one on the market which presents you with all 8 molecules that are involved in human nutrition. So if you consider, for example, a ladder, you want all the rungs to be there if you're to climb the ladder, or if you're to play a musical instrument. That's exactly, you need all the keys on a piano. That's exactly how the ethic is. So now, I've shown you the core nutrition, foundational, important. You always start there when advising yourself or advising other people. And then you can add targeted solutions. So I'm going to mention a few targeted solutions. And I've chosen to start with detox. Here is a variety of things in the detox program, but beta-guard is important and a few other things. Stage 6 is important. Excuse me. So garlic is very important when it comes back into the market. And why am I talking about detox? Well, all those collections of fatty deposits, mineral deposits need to be cleaned out from time to time. So regular detox keeps the cardiovascular system healthy and happy. That is lipotropic adjunct. This one is a combination of vitamin B's, lipotropic factors that, excuse me, that help to carry that fat out and take it to the liver and to the gallbladder or to the gall with bile to be excreted. So that is important for cardiovascular health. And then I've mentioned a good foundation for children. Very, very important to remember them. We have antioxidants for them as well. Now let's talk about minerals. CalMag, very important for stress, and it promotes health of the nervous system and helps muscles to relax. It's a combination of calcium and magnesium, or you can have magnesium on its own. That's the picture I posted. Magnesium, importance for health from head to toe. And then the vitamins, we need all of them. A right through to E, A, B, C, D, E. But I want to focus on vitamin C. A very important antioxidant, and it is so much more than just an antioxidant. Now, if you can picture that it is involved in protection, in immunity, in function, and the function and repair, particularly of blood vessels. We all know in the olden days, we heard of this disease called scurvy that sailors suffered from because of lack of lemons and lime, which would then provide the vitamin C. And so they manifested with bleeding and bleeding gums. That's all the cardiovascular system that is crumbling and breaking down due to lack of collagen production. And collagen is the cement that holds us together. So this is a crucial, crucial nutrient in our cardiovascular health. And one of the things that causes a lot of disease in the cardiovascular system are simmering viruses, like now, okay? We are in the throes of winter. We've actually had a lot of snow around South Africa, and there's a lot of flus. I've actually contracted a flu for the first time in a very long time. But I'm continuing to keep up my vitamin C because it helps with all those infections and immunity. But as it does that, it repairs blood vessels and ensures that collagen is continually being supported. And it works in tandem with flavonoid, which are partners in working for us. And then we have phytodefense. Build your businesses and afford this. But look, important in heart health, important in immunity, important in blood sugar balance. And this has flavonoid that I've just shown you. It has carotenoid, which is very, very important, which is also in the core nutrition. And then it has cruciferous plus, which is important for supporting the immune system. So, as I promised, I didn't want to take too long because of the electricity that is about to go off. Sorry, let's take this down. We are a family on a mission to make the world healthier and happier. I just wanted to say, let us get back to the basics. Let's make our lives an expression of how much we can love ourselves and look after ourselves and each other and share, of faith, of hope, of kindness to ourselves. Because remember, waiting for a disease to happen and then you take action might be too late, okay? And then usually the action is a whole load of medications that invariably might have other effects that are undesirable. Okay, and then let us all be happy and humble. And the way we are inviting those who are looking at this for the first time is to have a look at the whole range of what we have to offer. We have a non-toxic cleaning, home cleaning, 100% organic skincare, and then of course the nutrition supplements. And I believe that will be all for this evening. I'm going to invite you to discuss for a few minutes.